Welcome to the Book Fix Podcast, a podcast where we fix lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Cheli.
And I'm your host, Yajaira. It's been so long.
Oh my god.
It's been so long since we've actually sat down and recorded an episode together.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember. March?
The last one.
No.
It was when we did I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, all of those.
I don't even remember when that was.
Me neither. That's how long it's been. It's funny because in the existence of online, we only hang out when we film this podcast.
I know, right?
So it's just we haven't seen each other for so long.
No, we really haven't.
In
ever.
Between. Yeah.
We're not friends.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We actually have seen each other, but we haven't filmed.
Mm-hmm. But now, I feel like now we're more settled. Life is getting less crazy, hopefully.
Yeah, well, it was really hectic, and we found it really difficult because before we would bulk read, we would have so much ready for us to film because we used to do monthly films.
Yeah.
And then we just couldn't do that anymore. But we're going to try to get back to it because I actually prefer this. I think it's
me too.
way more enjoyable to actually get to see you and hang out with you.
I know.
And talk about these books or whatever we're talking about.
Well, today we are visiting an old friend. Mm-hmm. An old friend.
Yeah, Cheli's already going to cry.
I love Alice Oseman so much. And I feel like Alice Oseman has brought so much life into her graphic novels becoming a Netflix adaptation that it just means so much to me. Mm. But today we are going to be talking about Heartstopper, Season 2, the Netflix adaptation. But before we do, I kind of wanted us to address what happened to Kit Connor in between the end of Season 1 and the making of Season 2.
Yeah, I don't even know when it was, but I remember when it happened, I was just like, what the fuck? This is so uncomfortable. Yeah. So basically, Kit Connor is the one who plays Nick, and he wasn't out at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how it started, but I guess people were questioning him, like, are you even gay? Or are you,
Yeah,
like something along those lines.
It was as if he was being fake because he was online being a gay figure, but he's not gay. Yeah, because everyone assumed he was straight, and he was basically forced to out himself as bisexual,
which was just so ironic because literally through Heartstopper, we see what damages that can do to someone.
Yep.
Being forced to come out when you're not ready to yet. So it's kind of weird that it's mirroring like what his character is going through.
Yeah, and it's so sad because I remember some of his cast reached out to him and was like, you don't owe anyone anything. And it was just such a sad moment. And then I don't know if you saw, but around the time when Season 2 was being promoted, he started to openly talk about his bisexuality, and people were like, we get it, you're bi, you don't have to talk about it.
I didn't see that.
People were hella mean, and it's like,
you can't do anything right.
Make you happy right now.
Yeah. And it sucks because when he was forced to come out, his statement was very much like, I hope you guys are happy. Mm-hmm. And so people were like, oh my God, you guys are so mean. You're so mean. Like, why would you guys bother him? And then afterwards, it's like, okay, we get it. You're bi. It's like, there's nothing that these people can do that will just like placate the fucking watchers. I don't even know if they're just trolls though, or if they actually watch the show.
I feel like it is the people who watch the show because there's like, I don't know, this infatuation with LGBTQ members. And it feels like that sometimes happens to the members of the cast, which sucks that it's like that. Like the people who really ship Kit Connor and Joe Locke, and it's like, don't forget, they're cast members. They are literally co-workers. If something were to happen, okay, but they're also teenagers. Well, I think now they're becoming adults, but they were like 18, 19 when they started.
I have no idea how old they are, but they look really young.
Yeah, they're babies. So it's so weird that people are so fixated on their sexual identity, It's
so weird. It's definitely crossing lines. I don't know why people can't just let them be. And why they can't separate, their characters and who they actually are as people.
I think if I was Kit Connor, I don't know if I would forgive the fans so easily.
No.
That's a lot. That's your life.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Mm-hmm. He makes a really good Nick. And
yeah,
I think
he does.
this character fits his life very well.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly in this season. I think we should start, but should we guess?
Well, first, why don't you give a quick summary of the first season?
Yes. Okay. So Heartstopper, the Netflix series, is an adaptation of a graphic novel written by Alice Oseman about two boys falling in love, one whose name is Charlie, who was outed the year before but is now openly gay, and another character whose name is Nick, who is seemingly straight but starts to fall for Charlie. So in the first season, we see them fall in love and kind of having to deal with the pressure of being gay in like a straight society. And in season 2, that continues, but with them being in a more developed relationship.
Yeah.
But now having to deal with coming out to everyone. So... yeah, and there's a lot more like backstory with other characters who are also in this story, like their friends Tao, Elle, and Tara and Darcy, and Toby. Is that his name or his name Isaac?
Isaac. His name's Isaac. Also, if you're watching this, please ignore the falling flowers behind us.
Yeah, it's fine. We tried really hard, okay? That thing just stabbed me in the back.
Oh my god. No, dude, they've been falling for a while. And we're gonna fix that.
Yes. But
one day.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
We're on like episode 110 now. I think this is 110.
I think so.
We're filming in the same room where we filmed our first episode. Oh, old issues.
Yeah. We need to fix this room up still in terms of soundproofing it. And also we need like a glue gun for those flowers behind us. But just ignore that. If more keep falling.
That's
no,
fine.
they didn't.
We'll just catch them. If you're watching, tell us how many fall during the episode. There's like nothing left.
There's no flowers behind us.
Okay, so we are going to spoil Heartstopper a lot. So if you are interested in watching this show or reading the graphic novel, I do suggest you do that. For the graphic novel, maybe read up to volume 4. I feel like that's kind of where it's at.
Okay, wait, pause.
No, this isn't a pause. I think this should be in it. Queen.
It's just that there was 2 duct tape showing right there.
Oh, okay. Well, they know now how it's held up. It's not magic. Okay, so I'm interested to hear what you think I thought of this season.
Oh my god, please. You're the easiest one.
What did I think?
Well, okay, if you haven't listened to our first episode on the first season of Heartstopper, please go listen to it. Actually, that was one of our first episodes to really like pop off.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
It's not the most watched anymore, but it was for a while. So Cheli loved it so much that you would keep rereading the graphic novel over and over. And I think you still do probably.
I do.
I figured. I think you would give it a 5 out of 5 because you just love Heartstopper so much.
Did I tell you that I gave my novels away?
Yes.
My Heartstopper novels to someone in need.
I thought they didn't read it though.
No, I gave it away.
To who?
To a library.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
And it really hurt me. It was like me handing it away and I'm just like...
You're like still holding on to it? Really?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I thought you loved it so much.
Because I think there are people who would benefit from reading it. So, honestly, kind of a shitty move of me. I should have kept it. But, that being said...
But that is really nice, though.
Thank you. That being said, I think you're also going to give this a 5 out of 5. But if you and me sync, I think we're going to be bothered by the same part. There was one part that bothered me where I was like, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I have a lot to say about one episode specifically. Do you know which one? Do you want to take a guess?
No. I watched these really fast.
Yeah, me too. I didn't watch it like 10 times or anything.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to be bothered by. It just hit me.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and start talking about these episodes? And I want to talk more about when they're in Paris. So let's try to speed up through the beginnings. Mm-hmm. So the first episode of season 2 is called Out. The summary is, as his relationship with Charlie matures, Nick considers coming out to Imogen, but it's a lot harder than expected.
Okay, so in the beginning of this season, it's not that Nick feels pressured to come out, but I think that he really wants to because he doesn't want to keep Charlie a secret.
Yeah.
And I think that he can tell, not that Charlie is like making him or, feel a certain way about them not being out to everyone. I think that he just wants to do that to show, that they're together, right? And that they love each other. And so Imogen is one of those characters, one of those friends that he's had that he really trusts. So he thinks to himself, okay, like if I were to come out to her, this is like a big step to him. And I think early on is when he finds out that she just tells him that she doesn't have a crush on him anymore because she used to have a crush on Nick. It's over now though. And she's like, I kind of have a crush on someone else. And I think at this point, Nick is kind of like, oh my God, wait. Me too. You go first.
I know. And it's because there's a little bit of her saying, like, I won't tell you who I like until you tell me who you like. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of sitting there like,
oh, damn.
He's right there.
He's right over there.
But they don't say anything yet. It's not until Nick has like a little party at his house where he invites all of his friends, the Paris squad. So it's Darcy, Tara, Elle, Tao, and Isaac. I keep calling him Isaac. Is it Isaac?
It's Isaac.
Okay. And they also invite Imogen. And it's kind of funny because, they're all sitting there and she's over here like, wow, I love parties. And they're like, tell her.
Take her over there and tell her.
And it's this really sweet moment because she goes to the restroom, or she asks to go to the restroom. And he's like, yeah, I'll walk you. And he's like, I'm going to do it, guys.
Wish me luck.
And he goes up there. And it's funny because he's like struggling to even say it. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, it's you and Charlie, isn't it? You and Charlie, Nick and Charlie. I've read the book.
Yeah. She kind of just like says it. She says, this is about you and Charlie. Oh.
But it's really sweet too because she kind of goes like, oh my God, I stole your moment.
Yeah, she did feel really bad. She was like, oh my God, no, you were supposed to say it.
Here, I'll pretend I didn't hear it myself.
I'll pretend I didn't realize that you guys were in love like 5 chapters ago.
Dude, I thought it was so sweet because Imogen's not even a character that was in the graphic novel.
No, but I actually really like her character.
I love her.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Also,
she's so sweet.
I just want to bring up right now that I love that anytime someone mentions that Nick is gay, he immediately says, no, I'm bi.
I'm bi, actually.
I'm bi. Yeah.
Okay. I fucking love, oh my God.
We needed that.
Thing. It's a running on thing. Yeah. It's funny. I was watching it with my cousin, and anytime they would say that he was gay, she was like, they're erasing him. They're erasing his bisexuality.
Yeah, but he made it, no. He's bi, not gay.
He's bi, and he's in a relationship with Charlie. And so Imogen was like, okay, to stay fair, I have a crush too, and I have a crush on Ben Hope.
Which Nick was just like, ew.
Wait, Ben? I'm sorry.
Ben, that bitch. And just to recap really quickly, it was because Ben was in a relationship with Charlie in season 1, but it was very brief, and they were in secret. And he like came on to Charlie like very aggressively at one point, to the point where Nick intervened. Yeah,
and it felt like Nick wanted to say something at that moment, but he chose not to because it's not really his story to tell and to like out Ben like that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't end up saying anything.
Which I love that he doesn't out him, right? Because he's like obviously dealing with this himself. So even though it would explain why he doesn't like Ben, he's not going to do it just out of respect.
I do also want to bring up that I feel like the show did a lot of a way better job showing Elle and Tao's romance than the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Because I do remember you mentioning that they were all just kind of characters in the graphic novel. They weren't really like in the front.
Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that they all have their own thing that they're going through, which I think is really important for mostly like younger viewers to watch.
Yeah. So we do see Elle trying to flirt with Tao, and he's just so oblivious.
He's so, oh my God. He's just like not even there.
But in that first episode, they were like outside, like seeing her art. And I forget what she does, but she ends up touching his face, and it looks like they're about to kiss. So he does have romantic feelings for her, but is just kind of like, nah.
I think it's because he values their friendship more than the possibility of them actually, having a romantic relationship together.
Yeah, I get that. And I appreciate it a lot. And I appreciate the way that this develops throughout the episodes. But why don't we move to the second episode, which is called Family. This is the episode that kind of goes into the fact that because Nick and Charlie are hanging out all the time, Charlie's grades suck.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I know that they had brought it up in the graphic novel, but they painted it so well in the show of like how little he does. Damn.
And you can really tell that his parents are just annoyed by it. They're just like, dude, you need to focus on your schoolwork. Maybe see Nick a little less, just a little bit. And he's just like, I do my work, guys. Yeah. I study so hard.
Okay, Charlie, tell us what you did last time Nick came over. Okay. Mario Kart, we made out. Things get kind of fuzzy there. All of a sudden, I was at school the next day.
We were cuddling, kissing.
We can't skip any of that.
Yeah. It's like, did you do your schoolwork? No.
Now that you mention it.
I knew I was missing something. I knew it.
Dude, because Charlie's completely cut off from seeing Nick. And it's crazy because they tell
him you can't see Nick until after your exams.
Yes. And after he turns in his coursework, which was like a history report that he swears that he always like, yeah, I'm basically done with it, Nick. And
he hadn't even started it yet.
Oh, dude, that hurt me. It didn't even look hard. Honestly, he finished it in a day and was like, yeah, whatever. He just procrastinated.
Yeah. Could never be me.
Around this time, because Nick is older, he is studying for the GSCEs, which is a really big test in the UK. And so they basically, when his year's students are at school, they're just in the cafeteria and they just study all day. And they get seated randomly, and that's your study buddy. And he gets seated next to Ben.
Which honestly was so great for them.
Dude, but I really like how much they added Ben into the show. Because he was really only like a one-hit wonder in the graphic novels.
He was just kind of there in the background.
Yeah, so I really liked seeing him. And him just being kind of like, well, you gonna talk to me? Like,
you're still mad at me, bro?
I know I said some things. I know I did some things, but I really don't understand my math.
So I need your help. Please.
But it was interesting, like, seeing, like, his take on the relationship that Nick has with Charlie. Because Nick was very, like, I'm not even going to listen to you. You're trash. You made my boyfriend feel like trash. And he was like, but if you think about it, we're not so different. Because you haven't come out yet.
Oh, yeah. When he said that, I was like, damn, he really went there.
Yeah. And it sucks because I know that Nick knows that he cares for Charlie. But there was so much of this coming in. Like so much
just like outside forces.
Yeah. That it started to get to him.
He started to feel like, oh my God, like maybe I'm in the wrong because I'm not, telling the whole world that I have a boyfriend. So remember, Ben and Charlie had a thing, but it was a secret. So to him, he's like, oh, well, Nick and Charlie are a secret. So
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
And and there was like a point, I don't think it was in this episode, but just to bring it up, there was a point when Nick was studying where Charlie comes in to give him his pen, but it's kind of just an excuse to see each other. And Ben makes a side comment like, wow, if you really don't want to be outed yet, maybe you should stop acting so gay with Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Nick's like, I'm bi.
I'm Bye.
I love it. Oh my gosh. But I felt really bad for him. Oh gosh. I feel like Nick, and even in the graphic novels, if you remember, everything leading up to that point where he's at the beach with his mom and he cries, he's always the one that thinks he has to like shield Charlie from things.
Yeah.
And that
like
was
protect
shown
him.
a lot here because it seemed like it's not that Charlie was forcing him to come out, but it was just kind of like, come on, it would be really nice if we're out by prom. You know, it'd be really, really
It'd be really nice if we were out by the time we went to Paris and, you know, we could just hold hands and have no shame.
And even like this party thing that they went to, he was supposed to come out to their rugby friends.
Oh,
and he just felt so ill. And it's like, they're right there. And, you know, Charlie at the end ended up pulling him away and was like, no, let's just go home. But it feels so shitty because he's just trying his best to be a good boyfriend. But you can tell he doesn't feel comfortable enough to come out yet.
Yeah, and he was going to come out to the friends that he was closer to. So not like the other ones that were being an asshole to Charlie, but the ones that Nick actually felt like, oh, well, I don't think they would really care. Like,
yeah,
maybe.
And it's funny because in that episode, which that's now episode 3, promise. In that episode, I think the teammates he was trying to come out to, they were like, yeah, really glad you and Charlie joined rugby again. I know you guys are just like best buds.
I know.
He's like all holding something. I'm bi, actually.
He's like, buds, we make out.
You don't make out with your buds like that.
Well, sometimes.
I mean. But it's just this constant like back and forth of him trying to come out. I do want to mention in episode 2 and episode 3, Tao is getting jealous of Elle, who is a year older than him, and is going to do like their year at like an art school. And because Elle is spending so much time getting into this art school, they're making friends at this art school as well. So Tao kind of comes to terms. No, he doesn't kind of.
Keep going.
Okay. Oh, I can wait. So it isn't until he kind of just sits down and is looking at a picture of Elle with her new friends. He's like, I like Elle. I like her in a romantic way. And I'm going to try my best to show her that I like her. So he literally like Googles like how to ask out a friend or whatever. He gets a
really
fucking haircut.
So oblivious.
Oh my God. He does so much.
It's because like some of his searches were so weird. Like he had a whole list of like how to be a better person, and it was like, what was it, like be charming but not too much, you know? And then find the best haircut for your face shape.
Yeah. So he ended up doing all of that, and then while everyone is there, literally their whole friend group, he's standing here with like a bouquet of flowers and is like, Elle, I like you romantically and would like to take you on a date. Dude.
I was like screaming that time. I was like, oh my God, it's really cute.
It is really cute. But he really fucks it up because he's so into the idea of just making it perfect for her and not considering himself that it becomes very superficial.
Yeah, it doesn't really, even though he overthought this date, I did understand Elle's perspective when he was like, okay, we're going to go to the movies and we're going to watch your favorite movie. And then she was like, well, you don't even like this movie. But that's not the point though. Like, you like this movie. And I also didn't like how when they came out of the movie, he was still like critiquing it. He was like, well, you know, they didn't do this and this and this right, but
yeah.
Whatever.
It's like upsetting because if I were in Elle's shoes, it's like, okay, if you hated it so much, then why the fuck we go watch it?
Yeah, because he obviously didn't enjoy himself.
Yes. So then the next day, which was episode 3, Promise, when they go to that one party where Nick is going to come out to his rugby friends, as soon as they walk in, Tao notices that Elle invited her other friends, and he just blows up on her and is like, okay, so now you're just making other friends? You're totally going to leave us, and you don't even consider your friendships that you have. And Elle's just kind of like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. And Tao goes up to Charlie and is just like, I ruin everything. I like can't have anything because my personality is horrible. I'm horrible and I'm not likable.
Yeah. That moment really got to me though, because I felt so bad for him. I just felt really bad for him because he is so, I guess, blinded by trying to make Elle see how much he cares about her in a romantic way that obviously it didn't come out right. And I understand him being jealous because he feels like he's being left behind. But he could have done it a little bit differently. But then when he had that moment with Charlie, I really loved that moment though, because then Charlie was like, no, you're great, you're amazing. And then I don't know if it was this moment when he brings up like, oh no, but it was my fault that you were outed. It's my fault that you were bullied. I ruined everything. And Charlie just kept telling him like, no, that's not.
No,
that's
that
not
it wasn't
fault.
Your intention to hurt me. So it wasn't your fault. You need to know that, right?
Yeah.
But Tao is just so sad that he ends up just leaving. Around this time too, because there's so much going on. I fucking love it. With Tara and Darcy. One random day when they're going into school, Darcy is saying something and Tara's kind of teasing her and is like, oh, you're so annoying. That's why I love you. And then it gets really awkward because Tara...
I think she said something like, I love that you're so annoying. Something like that. And then she was like, oh my God, no, that was a casual, I love you. That wasn't like a serious, I love you.
And it sucks because Darcy doesn't even say anything. It's just like, oh, okay.
She's just like,
oh, that's chill.
Anyway, let's go.
And it sucks because throughout this series... or throughout this season, Tara keeps trying to bring it up. Like, remember when we were standing by the gate?
And then she immediately, like, shifts the conversation. Like, oh, my God, you know what? I just remembered. We got to go pick up our outfits or whatever.
Oh, are you talking about the thing we said in here? And it's, like, completely different. So that's their issue that they're dealing with. Our next episode is episode 4, which is Challenge. On a school trip to Paris, Nick and Charlie try to keep their relationship under wraps. Elle and Tao reconnect at a museum, and Imogen stands up to Ben. Oh my God, dude.
Ben. I felt so bad for Imogen because they were in Paris and she would be like, let's go do this. Let's go look at the Eiffel Tower. I don't remember.
Because they're already dating.
Yeah, they're together. And everything that she wanted to do, he was like, that's so lame. That's so, why would I ever do that?
Yeah. And it sucks because she would just constantly look around because everyone was watching. Oh, God. And even before the Paris trip, when it's like, okay, everyone, group in 4s. And she has no girlfriends.
Oh, yeah, because the girls and the guys have to group up to, arrange their sleeping positions or sleeping arrangements, I should say.
I do want to mention, too, before they went to Paris, Imogen and Nick had actually had a conversation. And Nick was just like, why are you with Ben? He's literally the worst person ever. And she was like, okay, what has he done? And he didn't say anything.
Tell me. Yeah, but it's like she knows that it has to do with something, that he can't reveal, right?
Yeah.
Because she even tells him like, well, he's always been really kind to me. He's always been really nice to me. I've known him since we were kids. And so because of that, I'm going to be with him.
Yeah. So at Paris... she is completely ditched by Ben. Or, like, even when she's walking with him, she's just in the background. Like, she's not really in the conversation. So she decides to go with Nick's group of friends. And they're so accepting and sweet. And she's over here, like, loving being with them. And it's funny because she even complains about Ben. And she's like, things would be so much easier if I was a lesbian.
Yeah.
And Nick and Charlie are like...
no, not really.
No.
Not really. But I do love that the friend group is so accepting.
It's very sweet. I think they're all just good people. But at the end of their first Paris day, they're having like all the students are having dinner together on like a long table. And Charlie is seated next to Ben. And it's funny because Nick is like ready. He's like,
well,
ready.
Are they seated? I don't know if they're seated that way, but I think Ben just sits next to him.
Ben chooses to sit next to him.
Yeah.
But it's because Charlie was sitting across from his friends.
That part was so awkward because Ben is over here trying to get closer to Charlie.
Oh, you could.
And Imogen is sitting like across from them, kind of nearby. And Ben is just looking at Charlie and he's like, how are you doing? How was your day? And Imogen was like, you didn't ask me how my day is doing.
It's funny because it's like Imogen and Ben have this whole out like breakup scene, and fucking Charlie's there like, just eating my potatoes. Like,
no, he wasn't. He was not eating his potatoes.
No, he was just kind of like, oh, you're right. He was just kind of sitting. Like it sucked because he doesn't like to be the center of attention, but it's like, Ben, I noticed that you always, like, you have this weird obsession with Charlie. You're always looking at Charlie.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing that? And
you know why, Imogen.
Yes.
You know why.
And so then she breaks up with him and is like, yeah, I deserve better than you. Like, I deserve to be with someone who cares and loves me. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Ben is about to say something, but even the teacher's like, shut the fuck up. She's right.
Yeah. Queen, pop off.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Farouk. But she ends up leaving and Nick and Charlie go after her. And then that's where Imogen asks, like, did you and Ben ever have anything?
And then before he could even say anything, she's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yep. But I just really value her friendship with like the friend group and how like much they cared enough to go check on her, because it feels like her character is just someone who's just never checked on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just really loved her character. I think she was like a great, because at first in the first season you're unsure how to feel about Imogen.
Both of us were not
sure.
we're
like, I'm not sure, this is a new character, we don't know, but I really do like her character a lot.
It's so funny because one of the first scenes that we see with her in season 2 is her revealing to Nick that she got another dog, and my cousin was like, queen. She got what she needed.
She needed that friend.
I totally forgot about Charlie's eating issue.
Oh, yeah. So Nick realizes little by little that Charlie never eats. Anytime they go anywhere where there's food involved, he kind of just like picks at his plate. And then sometimes when he like invites him to breakfast, Charlie always conveniently already ate. He's like, oh, I already ate at home. I just had breakfast like 10 seconds ago.
And it was even when Nick would be in charge of cleaning up, he would pick up Charlie's plate and notice that it was full too. So he was picking these things up, and there was a point where he even looked up eating disorders because he was very worried. But he didn't say anything. So
there was also this moment when they took a group picture and he zoomed in, and Charlie was the only one that had a full plate at that point. No one else had a full plate.
It's kind of interesting how like so many of these scenes like are frame by frame what happened in the graphic novel, because there were so many things that were said that were in the graphic novel that were like that. Like the whole ice cream scene with the, I noticed you didn't eat. He's like, yeah, I ate.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I like that.
I like that too.
To move forward, all of this is going on. So much fucking drama and tea. But just like another thing, just another issue to put on top. When Nick and Charlie are alone in their room, they get very touchy, and Nick ends up accidentally giving Charlie a hickey.
Oops, he didn't mean to.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
He was like, I don't even know how to do that.
I didn't know
how to do that. What happened? You know what's funny though? It's because Charlie was in the bathroom. He calls Nick in. He goes in there. They're both in there, and he's like looking at the hickey. And then Tao opens the door, and he looks at the hickey, and he's like, the way that he reacted, I was like, wait, does he even know what a hickey is? Because he looked at Nick, and he was like, oh, just for that? I swear to God. Like, it looked like he was going to fight him. I was like, does he think that that's something else? It's funny
because, like, to me, it looked like he was going to be that parent, like, really? On a trip?
Oh, no.
Where Jesus is watching?
I took it as, does he even know what a hickey is?
I preferred the way this played out because in the graphic novel, Tao didn't know that they were even dating yet. So,
you're right, huh?
Yeah, so I preferred that because remember, to Tao, he was like, oh, you fell in the shower. But it's like, Tao's not that dumb, you know?
Well, little. He's
but
a little.
I preferred that because everyone already knew that it was Nick in the friend group.
Mm-hmm.
But it really sucked because when Charlie ended up going out, they blamed it on the other gay person who's on this trip, whose name is James, who actually has a crush on Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because James is like, he's denying it, but it's really hard to deny to a bunch of teenagers, you the only gay person and the other only gay person.
Yeah, so to everyone else, they're like, there's nobody else here who's gay, so it has to be these two.
I thought it was kind of funny that James goes up to Charlie and he's just like, I'm sorry, but it wasn't me. Oh, wait, you would know that. You would know that it wasn't me. I thought it was really sweet.
Yeah, I really like James.
And then, so they end up going to the Eiffel Tower, and because it is a school event, they do have to fill out like a worksheet right outside of the Eiffel Tower, and they get paired up. So James and Charlie get paired up together, and you know, teenagers, they're like, ooh,
they're gonna kiss.
And it's funny because James is just kind of like, no, it's okay, I'm used to it. But it wasn't like Isaac, right? Like, it wasn't Isaac.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's chill. And I'm glad that both of them don't have any hatred towards each other because they're just kind of like, it is what it is at this point. And Nick, of course, gets grouped with Ben.
Just his luck, honestly.
Dude, I fucking love the conversation that they have, though, because of the drama it adds.
What was the conversation again?
Ben basically going like, you know, if I had more time, Charlie would have liked me.
He was like, Charlie really liked me. Mm-hmm. And then you just swooped in and took him from me. I just needed more time. I needed more time to figure myself out, even though he's not out yet.
Yeah.
To him, he was like, maybe I just needed more time and I would have come out because he liked Charlie.
Yeah. But he was under the impression at this point that he had the ability to win Charlie back.
Yeah, which is so weird. I don't know why he thought that.
I don't know. His view on like romance is so weird. Mm-hmm. But I mean, him and Charlie were together for a bit. Mm-hmm. So maybe he just thought like, this is the only guy I've been with and we had something very special. But,
and I can win him back. No problem.
God. I felt it was so weird. But like I said, I'm glad Ben's in this show and he's not just in the background. He's still...
Yeah,
he's still stirring the pot.
He adds a lot of conflict. So I agree. I'm glad that he's not just, what did you say? One hit wonder?
Yeah. They added one of my favorite scenes when they're at the Eiffel Tower and one of the students asks Charlie like, hey, so who gave you that hickey? Was it Nick? Mm-hmm. And Nick's like, yeah, what if it was?
Are you jealous?
It's like, man, I'm not gay.
I'm not gay, but...
Bye, actually.
He's like, I'm not gay, but I mean, Charlie's kind of cute, I guess.
If you wanted my number, like, here it is, but I'm not gay or anything. Bye, maybe. I don't know.
He should have been like, he didn't ask me if I was gay. I'm not. I'm actually bi.
It's kind of rude of you to assume, actually. Way to out me like that. Like, goes in circles.
Just keep it going.
He's like walking away. Why did they even ask me that? I'm not gay.
I don't even know.
Dude, I think this show, because remember, Tara and Darcy are kind of in a weird situation because Tara has said, I love you, but Darcy's kind of denied it. Mm-hmm. And Tara's birthday
She's just avoiding it.
Tara's birthday is coming up while they're at Paris, so Darcy is planning a huge party. And the way that she painted it was like, it's going to be special for you.
Because she deserves the princess treatment.
Yeah.
Which was really sad to me because Tara did not seem like she was enjoying this at all.
She didn't want a party with alcohol.
Yeah, she didn't.
And I think this book was better in painting that. Like how shitty of, like, for you to do that when you have to have a conversation with your girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So the party happens, and at the party, they play Truth or Dare. Mm-hmm. And when Charlie is picked, actually, shout out to that scene where Tao has to fucking kiss Charlie.
Oh, I know, right? And he didn't even care. He was like, come here.
I know.
We've been waiting for this to happen.
I can't. He's so cringy.
I know.
He crawled over and Nick is just like, oh.
He's like,
I know.
Please don't. Please don't.
But at this point, Tao and Elle are already like solid too, because they're already dating. They kissed at the Louvre. But
The Louvre.
Oh my God, French speaker here.
That was not even right.
No, you didn't. Whoa,
French listeners, please don't hate me.
Who's that fluent French speaker?
Anytime Nick would speak French, I was like, damn, I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds right.
It sounds right. It's funny because he got hate for his, not hate, but there was like a running on joke because there was a video of him just going like, bonjour.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so then like the cast members all started a group chat and they called it the bonjour chat.
That's funny. I didn't hear about that.
But they do play Truth or Dare, and Nick is dared to kiss James, and he doesn't want to. Or sorry, Charlie is dared to kiss James, and he doesn't want to. So then Charlie asks for a truth, and they're like, okay, well, who gave you that hickey?
And then he's like, you know what? Never mind. I will do that dare.
But then Nick looks over at Charlie, and they hold hands, and Nick is like, I know who did it. It was me, because we're dating. And I like how everyone in that room, because in the graphic novel, it was like, oh my God, you guys are dating. I knew it, and stuff like that. But everyone in the room was just kind of like, oh my God, I knew it. Like, you know, like very quiet. And then they're like, would you like us to keep it in this room? Or it's like, no, we're okay with telling everyone.
Yeah, but then there was also that other, like, I think it was like a duo where it was like, he doesn't even look like he's gay. And then he was like, I'm bi.
I'm bi, actually.
I'm bi, actually.
I'm bi, comma, actually. He says it so much, dude. It's funny.
I know there's going to be a compilation of all the times
I'm bi,
that he
actually.
corrects people.
I know. I love it.
I love it too.
They do come out, and on their way back on the bus that they came in, they even get like pulled aside by two people, and they're like, are you actually gay? Like, are you actually dating? Oh, okay. And then that's just kind of showing them like, this is going to be our reality now because we came out. So,
was it I think you're thinking of when they were setting up for prom.
You know what? I think I am, because that's when Nick makes an Instagram post.
Yeah, because it's not until after the Instagram post, which is kind of interesting, because does that mean that nobody said anything in that room?
I don't think so. I think
which
they
is
really kept
so
it
sweet.
Kept it quiet. I know. Well, they were all good company. Harry tried breaking in and was like, come on, invite us to the party. I swear I'm not homophobic.
Pinky swear I won't say anything homophobic. And if I do, I'm drunk. It doesn't count if I'm drunk.
And it's funny because Charlie just goes like, no. And just like shuts the door in his face.
Freaking love that. He had no hesitation. He just shut the door like, nope.
Dude, I feel like people forget that Charlie's just as capable to protect himself, like alone, you know? So him having moments like that, that just show like the type of person that he always is. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there are a lot of moments where he is portrayed as more like frail though.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
I feel like that kind of plays into what he doesn't want, because when him and Nick finally have a small conversation, not their big conversation, about him having an eating issue, because that's how he kind of paints it. He doesn't say disorder. I don't remember if that's at the end. I think that is at the end, because basically Charlie tells him like, I don't want to tell you these things because I don't want to burden you with having to take care of me, because that's not the point of this. I don't want you to think that I'm someone who's incapable of taking care of myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot to that statement, because like, yes, you could take care of yourself, but you also have to tell us when you need help.
There's nothing wrong with needing a little bit of help. So then they make that Instagram post, and basically, I think it was Nick who posted it, and I don't remember the caption, but then everyone was commenting like, "Oh my God, so cute, love, love." But then there were those other people who were like, "Wait, you're gay?
Yep.
Wait, what? You're gay?" Because there was a lot of comments that he was scrolling through, and then afterwards, so Darcy, Tara. Oh my God, what was that other girl's name?
Sarah?
Sarah? Zara?
Yeah.
Okay, Zara. And Elle, they were kind of in charge of setting up for prom. And so they texted the whole group and they were like, hey, can you guys help? Because we're really running behind on, setting up. And so everybody is there, putting things together for prom. And as the Charlie, I think, is like putting up balloons and Nick is with him, helping him, that's when two friends go up to them and they're like, so is it true you guys are together? Like together? And Nick is the one who's like, yeah, we're together.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, see, I told you. And it's just like, oh my God. So that's when they realize like, oh my God, this is going to be
what we have to deal with
for a bit. Yeah.
So this prom that they're helping set up for, the reason that they're setting up is because Tara and Darcy, well, it's mostly Tara, was given the responsibility to set up for prom. And Darcy and...
No, it was Zara.
Zara?
Zara had the responsibility of setting up because remember she went into the classroom and was like, I really need help with this prom. Can you guys help me? And
it really feels like Zara and Tara. I hope we're saying her name right.
I have no idea. I don't remember.
But both of them, they're really kind of running this whole thing. But then they realize that they're not going to have enough time to finish. So they call the Paris squad, all their friends, to come help. And Darcy doesn't show up. Like, Darcy doesn't show up to come help. And at this point, Tara's, like, texting her, like, you know what? I don't care if you don't come right now, but I really hope you come for prom. But then she, like, notices she doesn't answer even later the day. She's like, I'm scared.
Well, her messages aren't even sending. Oh, they're not even being delivered.
So she doesn't know what's going on. But it turns out that Darcy comes from a not-so-great home because her mom's not accepting of her being... I don't even think she knows.
I don't think she knows.
Right?
No, she's not out.
And so her mom saw Darcy wearing a suit that she was going to wear to prom. And her mom like blows up at her like, as your mom, I have the right to tell you when things don't look good on you. And, you know, people are going to think something if you're dressed that way.
And obviously you're not. So stop dressing like you are. And so they kind of just start fighting. And I actually really like how... then like that purple cloud goes around. I just really like the graphics, I guess, in the show. So then that purple cloud starts going around because obviously there's an issue and you can't really hear exactly like what they're saying, but they're fighting and then she grabs her stuff and then she just leaves.
It really sucks for Darcy. Like I felt so bad for her character this whole show. But I feel like they've added so much more character to her than the graphic novel ever did. Yeah,
seriously. Well, I think that the show did a great job in really like fleshing them all out. Because I was like, damn, I didn't even know. I even cared for Isaac. I was like, what the hell?
I know. Oh my God. We're not even talking about Isaac, but that one matters a lot to me.
Yeah, so we could talk about that afterwards. Yeah. But that's what happened with Darcy.
So when prom comes along... Charlie and Nick, it's like their huge moment to be out there and like just publicly gay, you know? So it's building up to it, but as soon as they show up to prom, Charlie's like, we don't need to do this.
Yeah. Well, they do sit there for a little bit, but it is very quickly when he's just like, you know what? We don't need to do this because we don't owe anyone any explanation.
Yep. So they end up leaving, which is good for them because they go home. I don't know if they all go together because, they do, because at that time, Darcy still has not come. And Tara's very worried for her. So they all go out looking for...
No, just Tara. Tara leaves prom, remember?
Yeah.
And then that's when Darcy shows up.
And she looks... like a mess.
Yeah, because Tara goes to where Darcy lives and then Darcy's mom answers and she's just like, what are you doing here? Or who are you? Or whatever. And Tara is like, I'm looking for Darcy. She hasn't texted me. She hasn't answered my text. I'm kind of worried. And so that's when she gets a phone call and her friends tell her, hey, Darcy's here.
Yeah. So then they meet up at Nick's house and Tara and Darcy have a conversation and Darcy's basically like, yeah, I seem so confident to you. And I know that you said your confidence helped you to come out. But the fact that I'm not even out to my mom, it's like you don't even know who I am. And the reason she didn't react to the I love you was because why would you love someone who's not even true to themselves? And Tara's basically like, well, you're still you. And even though I now know this part of you, I still love you.
Yeah. Which so I loved. I really loved that part.
I do too.
Because don't get me wrong, like I love that everyone, you know, from what we can tell, their families, the other one's families are loving, respectful, but they're, you know, to be realistic, like you have to show someone not being accepting.
Yep. Yeah, because for a while there, I was watching it with my cousin. She was like, so is everyone in England just a little bit gay?
Just a little bit gay?
A little bit on the LGBTQ train? Because it feels like so many people were just so accepting and loving of it. Mm-hmm. So you're right. To see something like this is like adding a little bit of a realistic viewpoint on this. Yeah,
which I think you have to, right? Mm-hmm. Out of respect to the people who didn't have such welcoming, you know, coming out experiences.
Yeah. We are basically at the end with Nick and Charlie because now we just have to talk about the dinner and then after prom and we're good. But before that, I want to talk about the scene that kind of bothered me.
Okay, go ahead.
So the scene that bothered me was at Elle's art show afterwards when Nick and Charlie walked out and Ben was there. And Ben tried to talk to Charlie. Do you remember that scene?
I do remember that scene.
So Ben came with... And by the way, this art show was like a queer art show. So everything that was being presented was just queer art. I don't know how Ben knew that they were going to be there. But he did. And he goes up to Charlie and is like, I really, really want to talk to you.
Well, also, he's been relentlessly texting him
over
and over and over again. And Charlie has not responded to any of his text messages.
I don't think he told Nick about it.
No, I don't think he did.
So he is like, Charlie, why are you avoiding me? I want to talk to you. We need to talk. And Charlie's like, nah, you know what? No, I'm good. And he's about to walk away. And I forget what he says, but it like makes Charlie turn around to like listen to him, like hear him out. I think it's the fact that Ben said that he's not going to be there next year and he's leaving soon.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he basically says that he's really fucked up and there's so much in his life that is so like kind of contributes to the way that he is. Mm-hmm. For example, his parents are very against being gay or being bi. But because of that, he's like, that's why I treated you the way I did. But, you know, we had something. Mm-hmm. And I just think that if I had more time, it would have been different. Mm-hmm. And then it's a speech that you can tell he thought about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then So then Charlie's like, do you remember the first time we kissed? And it's funny because it's like Ben got false hope from that. Mm-hmm. Because did you notice that he smiled?
Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, I think about it every day.
Yeah. But then Charlie's like, you didn't even ask. You did not even ask.
You just took it from me.
Yep. So it was like I forget how this conversation goes, but he's like, I'm not going to forgive you. Mm-hmm. So sucks, but I'm, you know.
Like basically, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah. And so Nick and Charlie walk away and with like the graphics of the show, there's like a wave of rainbows coming towards Ben and Ben standing like right at the shore of it. Mm-hmm. And he ends up walking away and just going into like the gray-scaled hallway.
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
I really liked that conversation that they had and the fact that Charlie brought up like you didn't even ask.
Yeah.
You did not even ask. I like that so much.
Me too.
But I feel bad. Have you watched the Barbie movie?
Yeah.
Have you watched the Barbie movie?
You know I watched it.
I know, but you know that scene in the Barbie movie, spoilers.
Oh my God,
Barbie
spoilers.
Movie, where Barbie feels bad for Ken and brings up like, I really don't want to do this to him. And then I think it's America's character who's like, he stole your house.
Yeah.
He literally stole your house. And she's like, oh yeah. I feel like that's the feeling I'm getting right now. Where I'm just kind of like, damn, I get where Ben's coming from. But at the end of the day, we really don't owe fixing him. Like, we don't have to, Charlie doesn't have to fix him. Charlie has no reason to have to sit down and listen to him and talk him through it.
Yeah.
But I feel so bad for him because he is a teenager.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, I understand why Charlie would be upset with Ben after the way that he was treated by him. I don't think that Charlie needs to be in Ben's life.
No.
But I don't know. Like, obviously, we haven't seen Ben's household. Like, I'm pretty sure it must be pretty bad. You know, something maybe along the lines of what Darcy is going through, maybe worse. So I do think that maybe that might be fleshed out more in season 3. Maybe if he sticks around.
With the way that it was painted out, it doesn't even feel like he'd be in season 3.
No.
I think this was his last moment with him walking away, not accepting his queerness, which makes me upset because I get it. There are people who don't accept it until way late in their lives or who never accept it.
Yeah.
And he might be one of those people. It just makes me sad that there are some people online who are like, yeah, fuck him, bitch. Yeah, he's such a stupid bitch. Cancel him. And it's like, you have to realize that he is a teenager, and a teenager experiences so much change in their life. And they might do things that are shitty, but they do it out of insecurity. I'm not trying to justify what he did to Charlie because what he did never has to be like, Charlie never has to accept his apology for that. And he will not be forgiven for what he did to Charlie, to Imogen, to anyone else he's treated like that. But it just, I wish the show would have shown that. Like, I wish maybe the rainbow waves would have gone away, but he still would have walked in. Or maybe just picked up a flyer and left. Kind of just like, you know?
I kind of wish that there would have been a moment of realization of like, damn, I just pushed people that I actually cared about away from my life. And I'm stuck with people that make me feel bad about myself. Like, that's kind of what I wanted for him. But
even if it was just a little moment of him and Harry talking and Harry saying something homophobic and him being like, leave him alone.
Yeah.
You don't have to treat him like that.
Anything. Like, just...
Because they redeemed Harry. Remember in the Nick and Charlie novella? They even talk about like, yeah, Harry's accepting now. He's just kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that Harry gets to have that? And Harry literally used a slur. But then Ben also manipulated Charlie for a very long time. But it's like, I don't know. Ben's still growing up, and I feel a certain way about him. Like, I just wish he had a different ending. But it is true to life that some people just don't change.
And some people are just always going to be, I guess, in the closet, you know?
I think it's because I like Sebastian Croft. Like, the guy who acts for him.
Oh, yeah?
I'm so like, he's so sweet.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But even in the novels, if this had happened in the graphic novels, I do wish that we would have known a little more about Ben.
But maybe the point of it is that we don't have to know everyone's backstory.
Yeah.
Like, they're still a shitty person. So you don't have to include them in your life just because they had a bad upbringing.
Yeah. They're very mature at that age, Nick and Charlie, for
being able to
push away from that.
Which it kind of surprises me sometimes. Like, I have to remind myself, oh my God, they're really young.
Yeah, they are. They're still in high school and they're experiencing a romance that is so like
mature
and intense. It's a lot. There is something that happens before. I know it's after prom. Okay, so after prom, Nick and Charlie are sitting together, and that is when Charlie and Nick finally have a conversation about Charlie's eating disorder and the fact that Charlie self-harms. And Nick has a very emotional moment where he's just like, no matter what, can you please just tell me?
Yeah.
Like, when you're feeling the urge to do this again or if it's going to happen. And Charlie, who is a mess, he's like a crying mess. He's like, I don't want to be a burden to you. And they hug it out. And it's so sweet. Like, it's such a bittersweet moment.
Yeah.
I like the part where they pull away and Nick's kind of just like, oh, I love your hair. I love your eyes.
Oh, I love that part too, where he was pretty much just saying like everything that he loved about him before saying
I love. And he wanted to say you, but kind of stops himself. And then something happens and Charlie's pulled away. But there was like that moment of like about to say it.
But you know what he was going to say.
That might have come after the dinner, actually. Because Nick's dad, who's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
Comes to visit. Finally.
Well, they actually saw him first. They saw him in Paris first.
For like 2 seconds.
Because he's a busy man. Mm-hmm. But then he was like, don't worry, son. I'm going to be there soon. And then he ends up going for dinner, which we didn't even mention Nick's brother, who's also kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
So they all have dinner together. And what was his brother's name? David, which is Nick's brother. He, the whole time, has kind of been homophobic. He's been doing like, he's just been making Nick uncomfortable.
And even the first time David met Charlie, he was like, I just wanted to see the guy who made my brother gay.
Yeah, who turned my brother gay. I was
bi,
like,
actually.
I'm bi, bitch. Oh my God. He was so, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you felt the same way, but even like the way that he would speak, just
insane,
uncomfortable.
I think that it was a very good portrayal of a sibling, though.
Yeah,
like the way they talk to each other.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so good. But at that dinner, it's Nick's entire family. So the dad, the brother, the mom, his dog, and then Charlie's entire family. So his parents and his sister. And while they're all sitting together, Nick and Charlie kind of had this talk, and they were like, do we have to act straight? Like, is that what we're doing? And Charlie's like, yeah, bro, bud, pal,
best friend.
Nick is like, don't call me that.
I know.
But
then the dad makes it super uncomfortable because he's like, oh my God, rugby, such a good sport. You get all the ladies that way. And then he looks at Nick and Charlie, and he's like, do any of you have girlfriends yet? And no, still no bitches.
Respectfully. I hate that. But then fucking
But the brother is the one who keeps egging it on.
Yeah, because he's like, wait, did Nick not tell you how he met Charlie?
Yeah, he didn't tell you?
No? Really? How special their friendship is?
How loving it is?
They take a lot of photo booth pictures, actually.
It's kind of weird.
I fucking love, though, that he's trying to egg it on, and Tori, which is Charlie's sister, is like, you shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut up. Don't you
I have a fucking fork. Like, but
yeah, she's very overprotective.
Nick is pressured into just being like, you know what, Dad, Charlie is my boyfriend. I am bi, actually.
I'm not gay, I'm bi.
Okay, no one forget that here. He's just like, yeah.
Pulls out the bi flag. Like, this is me, bitches.
Like,
it's his napkin. He's like, nobody forget. Hello?
Oh my God, everything's happening.
He's just like, nobody forget that, okay?
Okay. And so he's like, I have been so stressed with telling you that I have my beautiful boyfriend. But then I realized you're kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You don't even make any time to come visit me. You don't even make any time to know anything about my life that's like not rugby related. So I don't owe you an explanation or anything. Have a nice life, you know?
Yeah, like, leave, bitch.
Leaves. He pops the bi flag over his shoulder. He like whips someone in the face. Like,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
But after he leaves, Nick or Charlie goes after him, and even Nick's mom goes after him. And I fucking love Nick's mom.
Yeah,
how
same.
she's just kind of like, you know, you're right. He is a piece of shit. And then I think he asks her like, why is he such? Or he's a bad dad, isn't he? And she's like, yeah, he's a really bad dad. And then they hug it out, and it's so sweet.
I really like that moment.
Oh my gosh.
But I also hated that the dad was so, like, he swore that he was a good dad. Even before that, when he was like, oh, you know, I try to be in my son's life as much as I possibly can. But work, man, pulls me away. I just... Even that part where the dad's leaving and he's trying to talk to Nick, he's like, yeah, I hope that we can see each other again, you know, because I'll be around. And Nick's like, yeah, totally. And then the brother comes down the stairs and he's like, okay, tell me when you get back to Edinburgh. And he's like, I don't live there. Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
That was such a good moment though, because David obviously is more like the dad, but for him to even have a moment where your dad doesn't care about you either. Doesn't matter if you're just like him.
So he leaves and they don't even hug.
Mm-mm.
Damn, dude.
Well, he hugs David, doesn't he?
I think he does, but he doesn't hug Nick.
Yeah.
Because Nick is standing with his arms crossed.
He's just like,
ready to be like, I'm bi, actually.
I'm bi, not gay. So if you tell your friends, tell them I'm bi.
Yeah. Don't erase me. But after that is when the prom happens, and then they have the talk about the eating disorders and the self-harm. And
because also he didn't eat anything off his plate.
Yeah, he didn't. This entire season ends with Charlie opening his phone and just opening his messages with Nick and writing "I love you" and like his thumb hovering over the send button.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it funny knowing what happens in the graphic novels? Because I've seen people online who are just like, we're supposed to wait now? It's like, no, read
just
it.
read it.
Read it. So that was all of season 2.
That was all of season 2, but we didn't talk about Isaac.
Oh, yeah. Isaac matters so much. Isaac is actually, he's supposed to be Alid, which is the third best friend, but for some reason they made him Isaac. I don't know why that changed.
I don't know why either.
But the story of Isaac is very similar to Alid because while all of the romances are happening around him, he's just kind of always reading a book. He's just to himself, is a very supportive friend, but would rather be alone.
Yeah. Or reading a romance novel.
And when he sees his friends like hugging or kissing or anything, he just kind of looks and he's like, okay. Is that just something you do for fun?
Are you gonna keep doing that?
That's actually kind of gross. I just put on my chapstick. You want me to ruin it? No, but he's like,
and he does.
He realizes that when he watches people kiss, he doesn't feel anything. And he reads so many books about romance and falling in love that he would assume that he'd know what it feels like, but he doesn't. So when James has this crush on him, he finds an opportunity to be able to kiss James. But even after he kisses James, he feels nothing.
Yeah.
And so James takes it the wrong way for a bit, but then it's just kind of like, you know what? That just means you haven't found your person yet. But it doesn't, that like answer doesn't satisfy Isaac. And I like this part because he was hanging out with his friends. So when he reaches his friends, they're like, ooh, how is James? Did you guys kiss? Did you guys do this? And he like blows up.
He blows up. I was like, damn.
Valid though. Like I thought that was valid for him to be like, fuck you guys.
Well,
fuck you with Nick being bi.
He could have done it in a different way, but
I thought it was valid only because him being asexual, which is something he had to figure out in this season, that's something that's very not talked about and not really understood. So I do kind of agree with him being like, he's never really the friend that they focus on. Yeah. And I know that
he's like, just because I don't have my own drama going on.
Yeah. And I really like that was brought up. Like, I felt like that needed to be heard. I just kind of wish that Tao and Charlie would have pulled him aside and talked to him, though, because they're supposed to be the 3 best friends.
Yeah, but they didn't have that moment.
No, they didn't.
Charlie and Tao I think they had really good like friendship moments, but I feel bad that Isaac didn't really get one.
No, he ended up figuring out about his asexuality by reading a book, which is great. And he also met someone who was asexual too, which is great that he was able to find out. But I kind of wish that someone had talked to him, but no one ever did. Ugh.
Poor Isaac. Just getting neglected left and right.
You know what's another friendship that I think this show did perfectly? Fucking Tao and Nick. Because in the graphic novel, they were always butting heads. And it felt like anytime Nick tried to talk to Tao, Tao would get mad and leave.
Because he's a jealous person. That's why.
And he was not aware of Nick and Charlie dating in the graphic novel, but he was in this one. And one moment that I really appreciated between Tao and Nick was when they were setting up for prom, and Nick sat next to Tao and was like, and Tao said, I saw that you came out on Instagram and I've seen the comments. How are you feeling? And they talk about it. And then I don't know how they started talking about Elle, But Tao mentions, like, I think I have an issue with losing friends. Like, the idea of losing friends because I lost my dad at such an early age.
Yeah.
And they talk about that, and Nick is like, I'm so sorry that happened. And he's like, no, don't make it weird. And Nick's like, okay, I'll try not to make it weird. And
I'll try not to cry about that later.
It's such a sweet moment between them. So I'm happy to see that with all of these characters, they were able to develop relationships between each other that's not just whoever the romantic partner was.
Yeah, that's something that I was thinking about too with because I feel like this show did a really good job of portraying friendships, even with Imogen and Nick, and like you said, Tao and Nick and Tara and Nick. Was it Tara and Nick that had a moment, or was it Tara and Charlie? Tara and Nick, because he was thinking about Charlie and she was thinking about Darcy. So all of these friendships I really, really appreciated. I thought that they did a good job at showing that, because I just think about, like, this would have been so awesome to watch when we were, like, in high school. So yeah, I really appreciated that. I'm not sure what my point was, but I just really liked that.
Liking the relationships between characters that are not just romantic partners.
Yeah, I did appreciate that.
I'm really happy with where the season ended. I feel like season 3 is gonna fucking slap. I'm so happy that this show's getting so much traction too.
Yeah,
like, it's so big, and I can't imagine this getting big when we were younger. It feels like this is the time where, like, media like this is slowly getting more traction. I don't know if you remember, but, like, the movies that were LGBTQ when we were younger, they always played up the gay stereotype.
Yeah, and always. It was like times 10.
And it's, like, not a healthy way to view the LGBTQ community. So seeing, like, very different people come together and, like, find their sexual identities. Because even Imogen had a moment during prom when she looked at Zara.
Yeah, because she seemed really impressed by her.
Yeah.
Because Zara immediately said, like, oh, I'm bi. So
I'm bi, actually.
Yeah, she had that moment. Because Imogen was like, see, I'm not the only token ally. Because she was right next to Zara. But Zara was like, yeah, you are.
Yeah. So I like that, like, we're slowly seeing people who are already at the stage where they're out, people dealing with, like, how do we solidify a relationship? How do we start a relationship?
How do we handle when one family isn't accepting and one is? I like all of those conversations. And then also with Imogen, maybe realizing, like, that sexuality is a spectrum, like, or if she stays straight, like, that's okay too.
Yep, I think so too. I wanted to say something. Hold on. Do you remember the first time we talked about Heartstopper on the podcast? We had mentioned that we liked it because it felt like it was just a feel good.
You said that, but yeah.
Well, it's neither here nor there. Like, someone in this podcast said it.
I remember. No, I just remember that you would bring that up a lot, because with Heartstopper's, like, criticism, people would say, like, well, there's really no conflict here. And so that's why we brought that up.
And even go ahead.
I just wanted to say we brought that up because you enjoyed that it was just like a feel good read. But the show itself added so much more to it.
Yeah, it did. And it's, to correct myself, the relationships are very feel good, but the situations that these people are in are very realistic. So I like that it is the way it is, because I feel like all of them are very good people. What are you going to rate this?
Are we there yet? We're there. We didn't even talk about the teachers' relationship.
Oh, yeah. The teachers.
Oh, that was another thing that I did appreciate, was that, I forgot their name.
Mr. Farouk.
Farouk? Was it the one that...
With the beard.
Okay. So 2 teachers went and chaperoned them during their Paris trip, and they were both gay, but Mr. Farouk mentioned that he never really... because he wasn't out when he was younger. So he made a comment like, oh, yeah, they're going through these experiences. They're going through, like, a beautiful love experiences. But he didn't get that chance when he was younger, because it wasn't until later in his life when he came out or when he realized that he was gay. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also liked that part, was that they showed someone who didn't come out until later in life.
Yep.
Because everyone else is a teenager, but for him.
What was the name of the teacher he is dating?
Starts with an A. It's I-A-Y.
Ajayi? It's this, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Mr. Ajayi?
Mr. Ajayi?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes. I do appreciate seeing someone who didn't have the chance to come out. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Ajayi is so sweet.
I know. I love him.
It's funny because at prom, the rugby coach is there standing next to Mr. Ajayi and is like, why don't you invite Mr. Farouk?
Yeah. Tell him we need more chaperones.
And it's funny because he's like holding his phone and she just keeps going like,
He's like, no.
But Mr. Farouk ends up coming to prom. It's very sweet. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
So I really love that part of the show too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that Mr. Farouk, because he was about to shut it down and be like, that was a mistake. I should not have done that. Mm-hmm. But Mr. Ajayi's like, well, maybe next time we can do it differently.
Maybe drinks and dinner? Maybe?
Yeah. That's such a healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. Overall, I think season 2 was a lot better than season 1. Mm-hmm. Now knowing the characters, they were able to explore more with like issues that they would have. I'm most likely gonna watch season 2 again.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I've only seen it.
I'm surprised you're not watching it
I've only seen it 1.5 times, which honestly, that's not enough for me.
No,
I don't have any time to watch it, but I'm gonna make time.
You have to watch something else.
No.
Yeah, you do.
I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. I'm not even going to explain it. I just feel bad for Ben, though. I do feel bad for him, but I know that, you know, I get where everyone is coming from, but it feels weird to cancel a teenager that is dealing with a lot. Mm-hmm. I hope that someone does come into his life. Like, I hope, because he said he was going away, which, by the way, was very out of nowhere. But I hope if he were to come back, he's a little more open. You know what I mean? But who knows? Who knows how that's going to end up?
I'm hoping for the best for him too. Mm-hmm. I would also give this a 5 out of 5. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it a lot. I agree with you. I think season 2, season 1 was really good. Trust me. We both gave it a 5.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the way that they just really fleshed out the characters, their relationships, the friendships, and just everything. I just loved it so much. I would rewatch it again. I don't normally rewatch things, but I would rewatch that again, definitely.
I'm so glad you liked it. I do want to say, though, giving it a 5 is because it's a show. I don't think this 5 compares to my 5s of like the books I've read.
Yeah, same. I would agree.
I do want to say that. Last year, Heartstopper was very close to winning Book of the Year.
Yeah, what won? Book of the Year for me, I think it was The Swollen Kingdom.
Mine was Under the Whispering Door.
Oh.
I think. Wasn't it Under the Whispering Door? Yeah, it was.
No.
Which one ended up winning? Because I had 3. I had that one. These Hollow Vows was very up there. It might have been These Hollow Vows.
No. Oh, you know what? Was it this? You know what? It doesn't matter.
Go check the episode. But just know that Heartstopper, it's so consistently in this show that I want to say that I don't think it's going to get Book of the Year this year. Just saying.
Well, it's the show.
I know. Us giving it a 5 is not going to connect to the graphic novels, is what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that being said, I think that's it.
That's it. We've been talking forever, so let's close it up.
Thank you so much for everyone who is listening to us in audio form, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on. Thank you so much. If you can leave a rating of 5 stars, 5 specifically.
5, please.
And a review. Tell us how you feel about Heartstopper, how you feel about our show. That would be really great. Mm-hmm.
And the more that we get rated, the more that we are recommended to other people. So it would really mean a lot.
Yeah, and if you want to also just tell your friends, family, loved ones, everyone about us, the best type of exposure is through word of mouth. So that helps a ton. Thank you. Mm-hmm. If you have extra money, like $5, well, what can they do?
So we did make a Patreon, and for the moment, it really just serves as a way for our listeners to really let us know that they enjoy our content, enjoy what we do. You can find us on patreon.com/bookfix.
And if you are watching us on YouTube, hi, you can see us again. It's so weird putting a face.
It's so
to the
crazy,
voice.
huh?
Thank you.
Please
so
ignore
much.
all the flowers that have fallen.
Yeah.
And all of the duct tape behind us that we tried to keep the flower. We tried to use duct tape to keep the flowers on the board, but it didn't work.
Honestly, we should be recognized for putting this up in the small amount of time that we had.
We really did.
We
rushed
really hard yesterday.
We just came up with this idea like not even a week ago.
Yeah. Thank you so much for those of you who are watching us on YouTube. If you can, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we do post every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you. If you would like to support us on social media, we do have an Instagram at the Bookfix Pod, THEBOOKFIXPOD. And we also have
Threads is the same thing.
Oh, Threads is the exact same one. And TikTok is at the Bookfix, THEBOOKFIX. Thank you. You should follow us there. We're pretty active on TikTok.
Yeah, and we also have a Goodreads and I think Storygraph as well.
Yeah, just look up the Bookfix. You'll find us. I think that's it. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, can I, now that we have a camera, do you see my background? I told you this story already.
You did?
So my background on my phone right now is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I love them. And I opened my phone at work the other day to show my coworker the time, and it was very quick. It was like, oh, here's the time. Mm-hmm. And she saw the picture and was like, that's a beautiful picture of Niles. You remember Niles, my cousin.
Yeah.
And I was so caught off guard that I was like, yeah, it's a beautiful picture of her.
Oh my God.
She was like...
Didn't she have a follow-up to that?
Yeah, she was like, when did you guys take that picture? Like, when was that? And I was like, I'm so sorry to embarrass you. That's not my cousin. Those are 4 turtles.
Yeah, that's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Please go watch the movie.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for the support.
We're not even sponsored.
This whole episode is not sponsored, but dedicated to TMNT. Thank you.
We're not sponsored, I swear. I wish. Damn, I wish.
I really wish too.